So today we're going to be reviewing the Imalent 32,000 lumen flashlight. It is the brightest flashlight in the world as of today, which is mid-November 2017. This is the kind of thing that the government, you know, they're going to get in there at some point and regulate the heck out of this. I think this is the golden age of flashlights because there's very few regulations on how bright they can be. But once the people in charge, the people running the show, realize that they can regulate something else, because you know they're power hungry control freaks, they're gonna go for the flashlights, just you mark my words. Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here. So today we're gonna be checking out something which is totally absurd. It's totally ridiculous. I didn't think I would see something like this for a couple years, to be honest. I didn't think that we would make a Moore's Law type leap in flashlights. Moore's Law is the idea that in computing, the processing power of computers doubles every 2 years. Now, the flashlight arms race, it was going really hard up until around 2015 when ThruNight came out with the 7300 lumen flashlight. Then it kind of slowed down throughout 2016, and then 2017 it's just went through the roof with flashlight companies like Imalent that I'm going to talk about, which has put out a 32,000 lumen flashlight. This is a real 32,000 lumen flashlight. You can go on Amazon, and I've talked about this before in the numerous flashlight videos that I've done. One of them being about how these scammers come on Facebook and they post these ads on Facebook, Instagram. They make false lumen claims on Amazon. They have these ads for those really cheap, mass-produced Chinese flashlights that cost like $3 to make, and they market them as, oh, the US military is using this, and this is what law enforcement uses, and blah, 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 blah. And it's just some cheap crap in a cheap plastic case, and they make it look all cool. Now there's this other one going around. It's for like this little survival kit, and has the cheap credit card multi-tool thing in there, and it has this cool little tactical looking flashlight, which you know costs $2, just complete and utter garbage. But they know that 90% of people ain't preppers, and they don't understand this stuff worth a dime. So that said, people get hustled in this game when they don't know what they're doing. But this, my friends, this is the real frickin' deal. This isn't something for everybody. This isn't something you need. Hell, I would be surprised if 1% of you went out and pursued this flashlight. It's a freaking amazing flashlight in terms of what it does, but it's hard to find its actual niche for something like this. Before I talk about this light, check out these shirts, the Strong Survive, the Prepared Thrive. Get them on Teespring. I'll post the link in the description. Oh yeah, and you see that thing back there, that contraption? I was sent that by a company to review, and I've been putting it through some testing lately, and it is frickin' unbelievable. It is the pound for pound most powerful battery on the planet Earth. You see this setup behind me here? This is worth more than my children. Just kidding. That's the Powerfilm 120 watt foldable military grade solar panel. This thing is frickin' unbelievable. We're gonna be checking that out at some point. And then this is the Inergy Power Pack. It's the pound for pound most powerful battery that you can get today. We're going to be talking about that at some point once I'm done all the testing and whatnot. Alright, so on to the topic of the day then. This is the Imalent DX80. You know, I really wish they would start just naming these flashlights like they name Hurricane, something that's more memorable. DX80, TN36, X7 Marauder, blah blah blah. Just give it a name and then call it the second version of that name. These guys have no marketing sense whatsoever, and I'm not just talking about Imalent, I'm talking about flashlight companies in general. I don't know why they name their flashlights the way they do. Anyways, it's good for the techies, bad for the general population. Anyways, this thing is ridiculous, man. This is 32,000 lumens. I never thought we would get here so fast. I don't even know, they just blazed through 20,000 lumens like it was nothing. Imalent came out with a 16,000 lumen flashlight before this. They just jumped, they just doubled it. This thing has its own battery pack, of course. 88.8 watt hours at 3.7 volts, and it charges fast. I think I charged the thing damn near to full in just a few hours, which is impressive for such a large battery pack. And you're gonna need it, because even though it exceeded my expectations in this regard, the 32,000 lumens, if you're running it on that, you're probably only going to get maybe a half an hour runtime, if you're lucky. The fact is, you're not going to be using the 30,000 lumens all the time. I mean, you're going to be able to use and get away with 1,500 lumens. I mean, 1,500 lumens is probably all you need, but if you're having a flashlight this large, you're buying it for another purpose. Otherwise, you would just buy a smaller 1,500 lumen flashlight like that M2R Warrior from Olight. But it exceeded my expectations in that once I had it on the turbo mode, it stayed on turbo and didn't step down for almost 5 minutes, which I was blown away by. I thought it would step down way before that. That was indoors, that wasn't outside. I've done a lot of testing outside in minus 20 degree weather, and the step down to the lower 5,000 lumen setting or the 13,000 lumen setting isn't going to occur till later because it's being cooled by the environment. All right, so there's 120 lumens. That's what your everyday average Joe is going to find at the local, what we call Canadian Tire. Now there's 500 lumens. That's what, you know, the one guy who finds the Chinese flashlight on the internet that says it's 20,000 lumens, he actually gets sent a 500 lumen light. That's what that looks like. Actually, that was 1,500 lumens, sorry. This is 5,000. So this is what's used by your average run-of-the-mill tactical douchebag. Okay. It's minus 20 out right now. My hands are freaking cold. 13,000 lumens. Last year, this was the brightest flashlight you could get, was 13,000 lumens. It's blinding. I don't know if the camera is going to do this justice. Marshall is going to get incinerated. Now this is 32,000 lumens. It might seem like there isn't much difference between that and 13,000, but I assure you, it's insanely bright. The camera blocks it out because it's just too much. And this thing has very good heat dissipation. You can see the aggressive heat dissipation ridges on there all the way up. So this part where you hold it with the battery almost never gets too hot to touch. All the heat is happening right here. It's pretty much dissipated by the time it gets down to the handle, which is pretty cool. It has these gigantic XHP70 second generation LEDs. I believe that each of these is capable of putting out about 4,000 lumens. Now, I never actually did a lux or beam intensity test on this, but I can tell you that it's over 30,000 lumens. I mean, I've compared it to my Olight Marauder, which is 12,000 lumens, and it's easily 2.5 times as bright as that, or whatever you want to do the math on that. It has 160,000 candle power candela, so that means that it's still a fairly bright beam that's going to throw the light significantly far. But the problem is that it's so bright in the foreground that even though it's throwing that light significantly far, because your eyes get so trained to what's right in front of you, to the amount of light that's being thrown within the first 50 meters, it's almost hard to see beyond that because the light is so blinding. So the problem with this amount of light is that they're kind of dumb lumens, I call them. They're not smart lumens. There's many flashlights, and I don't want to name particular brands because I don't want to seem like I'm bashing Imalent or something. I'm sure they have a lot of other lights which are more specialized, but there's a lot of other lights that use the lumens more wisely in terms of how they throw the light. This is just kind of like bleh. It's just throwing all that light right out the front. 32,000 lumens out the front. Where it goes from there, nobody knows. It's got the orange peel reflectors on all of those. Not very deep parabolas, so it's not going to throw it that far. It's not meant to be a thrower. So it begs the question, what would you need something like this for? Let's just get this price out of the way. This is a $500 flashlight. It's got a lot of weight to it though, man. I mean, it feels like a $500 flashlight would feel. Even my wife, who doesn't really know much about gear, looked at this flashlight and she's like, what is that? You know, and she's like, is that really a flashlight? And I'm like, yeah, it's All American Prepper's EDC flashlight. And she kind of a little chuckle and rolled her eyes. But it's a beast, man. It's heavy as heck. I mean, if you're taking this somewhere, you're taking it for a reason. It's cool to have on you. Maybe if you got a quad, a skidoo, if you have something way to transport it, then it's going to be practical. It's not going to be a good backpacking thing. It might be something good to have in the truck if you're a farmer and maybe you're searching for cattle at night or something like that, or a animal that's gone astray, or you're trying to survey a large area at once. This is going to light up a football stadium. Literally, the amount of light given off by one of these is probably very, very close to the amount of light given off by one of those lights in those stadiums. Probably a couple of those lights. I don't know exactly how much lumens those lights put out, but this thing is a frickin' beast. Let's just do the 32,000 lumen test in here. Now remember, the white balance on the camera is going to auto adjust and it's going to dim the exposure value. Let's just see. It's so bright. See, it adjusted there. How it looked when I first turned the flashlight on is how bright it actually is. That's the strobe. Let's turn this sucker off. Okay, so let's go back to it one more time. Remember, in the first 2 seconds, you're going to see how bright it actually is. Jesus, bloody hell. Okay, the other great feature about this light, I gotta hand it to Imalent, is in spite of that this is a little too sensitive for my liking, I would prefer that this was recessed, or, you know, maybe it had a cover over it so it wasn't so easy to turn on, because this isn't like a tactical thing you're gonna need on the fly. This isn't something, you know, you're going to be carrying. It doesn't need to be so sensitive that it turns on, because it's going to turn on your pocket. There is a lockout feature, but, you know, it's a pain in the ass to have to activate a lockout feature. I'd rather have something built into it to minimize the risk of it turning on so easily, because it's just, you know, and you could turn it on any way. You could just bump it and it turns on. But they have a really amazing user interface here, so it actually tells you the amount of lumens. The first ever flashlight to actually tell you how many lumens. It's written on the LED screen. I'll put a picture over the screen here so you can see what I'm talking about. It's freaking amazing, because I've never seen this on a light before, and it's so useful to just be able to know exactly how many lumens are coming out the front. And this is a nice little mini LED screen. It shows you the voltage, so it shows you how much battery power you have left in the amount of voltage the light's putting out. Also, it gives you a 5-bar indicator, which is kind of nice, and it also tells you if you're in strobe mode. It tells you if you're locked out of the flashlight, if you've unlocked the flashlight. So very, very cool. Some things that are left to be desired. It has this weird little wire thing here that I guess you're supposed to attach a lanyard to. I don't really know what they're thinking with something like that. For a $500 flashlight, number one, it doesn't come with a good case. It comes with this box, you know, this cheap box, whatever. Not really much to the box. Something like this deserves a case, and I'm not just talking about some cheap plastic piece of crap case. This thing deserves a custom-made, at least aluminum case. For 500 bucks, come on, throw in a $20 case. That's going to give this some nice curb appeal, and it deserves it. And like this thing, this just doesn't match. This doesn't belong here. Okay, I don't know what the heck this is right here. There needs to be something else. There needs to be a better lanyard, and there probably should be, sorry about that guys, there probably should be another lanyard hole right here, because this is going to be something you're probably going to want to carry on your side. I mean, they give you this pouch which you can put on your belt like so. This is what All American Prepper is going to be wearing every day, right? So you can wear it around like that, but it's not very practical, right? This might be good for, now that I think about it, from a security standpoint, if you were trying to surveil a large area, even like a prison guard or something like that, this could be very useful for. But to hold it on you like that, this thing, I can't remember exactly how much it weighs. It's got to weigh 3, possibly 4 pounds. It's heavy as heck. But remember, weight is quality. I'm not bashing them, guys. I really give props to Imalent, because now they've forced ThruNite, Olight, and all the rest of the companies to step up their lumen game. Once again, these guys have catapulted the Lumens arm race. They've tripled what the Olight Marauder did earlier this year with the 12,000 lumen flashlight. They tripled it in one frickin' year. That's unbelievable. So even though, and they got this amazing smart interface. So I'm not trying to sell this. I don't want to seem like, oh, Imalent's not paying me any money to review this. They sent me the light, which is frickin' amazing. But they're not paying me to do this review. So if you want to buy one, buy one. I'll put the link in the description. But what I'm saying is that Lumens, 10 out of 10. The user interface, if I could give it 11 out of 10, I would. The best flashlight user interface I've ever seen on a flashlight. The button that you use, much left to be desired with that. I would probably give that... I'm reluctant to give it a 7. I'll give it a 7 because it's such a cool frickin' flashlight. I was thinking a 6 because that could really be improved somehow. This little lanyard thing, that gets a 1 out of 10, although that's not hugely significant. But with something like this, you would want 2 lanyard holes so you can carry it over your shoulder like that. This is something which is worthy of being shoulder carried. In terms of the heat dissipation, excellent. The ability of the light to actually keep that 32,000 lumen brightness for 5 minutes without dimming is frickin' amazing. Frickin' amazing. I expected maybe like 30 seconds, to be honest, when they advertised it. But this thing actually really impresses. And like I said, it's a no BS light. This flashlight company just came out of nowhere and started breaking records. They don't have the value of through nights. They don't have the other ergonomic features and the years and years of experience of making flashlights like Olight, where they pay attention to all the user details. In terms of firepower, man, this thing is freaking amazing. And it's IPX8 rated. Underwater to 2 meters, which is also freaking impressive. Like I said, the heat dissipation is freaking amazing. In terms of runtime, so turbo mode, they say 3 to 82 minutes. So 3 minutes max, and it's going to be able to do that throughout 82 minutes. Now, low mode is 120 lumens. 120 lumens for low. 10 years ago, 120 lumens was one of the brightest flashlights you could buy. One of the brightest flashlights you could buy was 120 lumens. That's low, and it'll do that for 60 hours. Now, I would have thought it would have done that a little longer, to be honest. There's no Firefly mode, which, honestly, if you're carrying around a light like this in Firefly mode, something's wrong. There's some serious overcompensating going on if you're buying a flashlight like this for Firefly mode. Although if they did have it, it'd probably last for a year. 500 lumens, 22 hours. 1500 lumens for 7 hours, so that's pretty good. 5,000 lumens for 3 hours and 9 minutes, so that's quite the specific prediction on their part. 13,000 lumens for 10 to 120 minutes. And 32,000, stepping down all the way to 7,000 lumens for 3 minutes to 82 minutes. Like I said, you're lucky maybe 20 to 30 minutes on that super high mode. So pretty frickin' phenomenal nonetheless. It says beam distance of 806 meters. I would say that's probably accurate, but like I said, because the light is so blinding in front of you in the fore, the background, it's really hard to see. You will be able to see something back there, but it's so much light that this reflector just doesn't know what to do with it. If they could really perfect the reflector, and the way I see it, if you're going to make a light like this, why not try to perfect the way that light gets thrown? Imagine this. Imagine if they could put this into a thrower. I mean, if you really want to communicate with other planets, if you want to have some interplanetary communication going on, never mind NASA, this would do it, man. This 32,000 lumens, if thrown properly, that has the potential to go 10 miles, I bet. 10 miles. That's what I'm going to bank on. Someday, you're going to see a flashlight, 32,000 lumen thrower, and it's going to throw 10 miles. Mark my words. We're already up to 1.5 miles with the Through Night TN40, so who knows what the heck 2017 is going to bring. I know that Olight's scheduled to come out with some 25,000 lumen monstrosity, which is going to be have some more practical features than this, but I can't say enough good about this user interface. Now, also, I almost forgot. So it has its own 19-volt cable here. It charges very quickly. Like I said, a couple hours from start to finish. So that's great. And what I've found, a lot of people might not like the idea that this is a proprietary battery pack. But what I found with flashlights like this is these work much better than having just a bunch of different 18650s, because they're built specifically for the light itself. They're made to discharge just the amount of current that's needed to power this light in the right way. And they're easier to charge. They're much faster to charge than trying to charge all of those 18650 batteries. So this thing is a frickin' beast. I would give it a pass just because it's such a leap and bound. This is like what Windows 95 did to whatever the hell there was before Windows 95. I mean, it's totally set the bar way, way higher now. I'm pretty sure that the other flashlight companies are scrambling to try to compete with this now, because even AceBeam, I think they had, maybe they're up to about 15,000 lumens. And it really, as much as you don't want to say it's about lumens and it's about how you use the lumens, of course it is. It's about the color of the light, it's about the form factor of the light, it's about the reflector, it's about the battery usage, the run times and all that. But at the end of the day, sexy sells, and lumens are sexy. So go and check out the Imalent DX80, all American prepper approved, EDC friendly. If you got $500 to burn and you want to get yourself, I mean, look at that thing. It's not on, but it looks like it's on. That's how bright this frickin' thing is. That's what I've noticed with these LEDs. They're so frickin' amazing that it's not on, but it looks like it's on. Look at that. See if we can get a focus there. Isn't that frickin' amazing? Isn't that incredible? That is just out of this world, man. Insane, insane. Insane in the membrane. Oh yeah, and just one final word. The weight of this guy is 2.8 pounds. I think I can confidently say right now that if you want to see the hi-fi level of survival and preparedness gear, you're going to want to subscribe to this channel. Because every new prepping and survival innovation, I commit to reviewing on this channel. Even if it sucks, and I'll tell you if it sucks. Plenty of things like that stupid thermoelectric generator thingamajigger, the Flame Store, or whatever the hell it was called. That thing sucked, but it was cool. Much like the Power Pot and the BioLite, but only it was different. You know what I'm saying? So we review everything on this channel, from monowalkers, the crazy, insane-o flashlights, to the bare bowl. Things which range in price from very cheap to very expensive. So check it out, and if you want one of these, links in the description. Thanks for watching. Canadian Prepper out.